You ever play that one Borderlands 2 Space DLC and ask yourself, how could I make this any worse? Odds are, you probably aren't a masochist, so maybe it's just me. But today's challenge is going to be long, hard, and full of innuendos. Today's question is, can you beat Borderlands the Pre-Sequel with only the probe? The rules are simple. We're playing on UVHM to maximize the difficulty. I can use any Vault Hunter and any of their skills, with discretion of course, so I don't just avoid the challenge entirely. No bar allowed and my gear shown here. I use this stuff for the whole run, but the general rule of thumb is that we can't use unique gear except for the class mod. Alright, so we start our run, and we don't have a probe. That is because the probe is a mission item, and that mission isn't available until after we fight the first two bosses. I thought about just using Gibbs Save Editor to give us one, but I decided that wouldn't be legit, and a little bit of foreplay would be fine. At first I wasn't sure if I should choose Athena to get me through this first part with all of the melee damage she has, but I later decided being able to hold double the penetrating power would be better for me in the long run. Also, Nisha kind of has a melee build that would do the job fine. First off, we had to save Jack, and it was actually easier than I anticipated. Nisha's The Unforgiven skill makes every enemy that was shot during Showdown explode when Showdown is over. And luckily for us, smacking their cheeks also made them explode. Nisha also uses a whip, so going into fight for your life wasn't a guaranteed death sentence. Without being able to probe the enemies yet, we were going to rely on two things. Whipping, of course, and also stomping. Ground slams weren't as helpful on the space station because the gravity was normal here, but it would come in handy later. So Flame Knuckle shows up, and I'm ready to call this run not possible, because I did not expect to win this fight. But it turns out, he deals like no damage. The first phase of this fight, he was mostly just focused on Jack, who was pretty much doing nothing anyway. So it was just 10 straight minutes of whipping and stomping. His second phase was a little bit tougher though. I will admit I did try launching him into space, but the game was too smart for that. The main struggle with this fight was the fire damage over time he could inflict. If I was ignited, it was certain death for me. I died a few more times during this fight, but I managed to take him out by using Jack as a distraction. And it turns out, he wasn't happy to see me, he just had a nukem in his pocket. Anyway, Jack did some curse stuff, I was yeeted at the moon in some fancy toaster, and we met the bestower of the probe. But our dominatrix days weren't over yet. We had one more boss that needed punishment. Getting to deadlift wasn't the worst thing, but it was definitely a little annoying. But when it came to actually fighting him, it was terrible. His attacks were very strong, and he wouldn't stop moving, so I had to lure him away from his beloved jump pads. I didn't think he would actually chase me down there, but I just had to be patient. He eventually came, and his torture began. After 10 minutes of precision slamming, he finally perished, and I could finally go get my trophy. I managed to rob him for everything he owned, but I also forgot the Moonzumi key, so I felt kinda dumb after that. But everything was going great. We finally got our probe, Nurse Nina showed us how to use it on her lucky volunteer, and we respect our skill points so we could double fist our new weapon. The next target on our list was Red Belly, and it was going to take some work to get to him. So the probe's initial purpose was to aggravate some Kragans instead of killing them. So the damage on the gun is extremely low. For reference, one clip from the probe equaled about one bullet from a normal Maliwan pistol with matching parts, but it was still able to handle most mob enemies pretty well. Baddie enemies and bosses were a totally different story though. I would expend all my ammo prematurely, and Nisha doesn't have any ammo regen abilities that would be effective enough to keep us from running out frequently, and in some cases, I would resort to using my whip to finish them off. After being attacked by a swarm of numbers, we finally infiltrated Red Belly's base. This part of the run was the turning point from causing pain to receiving pain. The big enemies leading up to Red Belly messed me up a lot. The first one just let me kill him. I don't know if he ran out of ammo or was just into it, but we would meet again. We fought off a wave of baby scavs and their babysitter too, and found ourselves in a pretty spooky part of the run. You guys probably think Pyramid Head is scary, but Cylinder Head was my worst nightmare. Those guys hit like a brick, and I was going to need a better probe to win this fight. Save quit farming to change the element of our probe would come in handy a few times during this run. I got a corrosive one because I thought it would be great for armored opponents like them, so I fought through everyone again, and the crust one also sucked. I tried a few times and I realized I needed some fire damage. So I fight through everyone again just to accidentally fire a torpedo gun, reset, and fight through everyone a fourth time just to get absolutely dominated by Red Belly. Belly was the main problem. He would be able to take me down the health gate in a single hit, and if he was lucky enough to set me on fire with that hit, I would have very little chance of surviving through it. I would have to use Showdown, shoot him as much as possible because the probe actually heals you slightly based on damage you do, and pray that it was enough to survive all of the burn damage. Even with the cheese strat that I'm doing right here, it took a lot of time and patience to get through all of this. The smaller one was easier to take on, so it didn't take too long to get rid of him. Back at Concordia, the Merif decided that he did want to partake in some of our services. It was apparent upon first glance that the Merif had a slime fetish, though. He got a little rowdy after we told him that wasn't our forte, so Jack had to put him down. Ew. Very nasty. Ooh, spaghetti. Anyway. Alright, back to the run. We changed up our look, did the funny calculator thing, stole a stingray, crashed the game, and then we met up with Pickle Rick. That was probably the cringiest joke you've ever heard, so sorry about that. But anyway, we ran around the map touching knobs and pushing buttons for a while so that we could get on the bosun's ship. All of that was easy, but it was pretty hard when we got inside. The fights in here were pretty tough, and I died a couple of times because of this mugger, and I felt true humiliation when I couldn't even get a kill on this lil scab for a second wind. This clip right here really shows how annoying it is to try and kill it with this gun. I could not imagine trying to do this challenge without being able to dual wield these pistols. This challenge may have been hard, but in all honesty though, the game itself is well balanced, and just like Borderlands 2, has absolutely no glitches. What? Anyway, the booster seat baby man was in for a fight, and so was I. Just like the baby man he is, the bosun relied on others to feed him, so taking out his turrets was the first thing that we needed to do. The turrets themselves were moderately beefy, so it just took time. But with no more turrets to suckle on, this fight was like taking candy from a baby. But instead of it being a baby, it was a grown man dating his own computer. We had our AI, and now it's time to build some robots. At first I thought I met a bunch of cute little Torque friends, but then they did the most sus thing I've ever seen. Like, I know this run was supposed to have a bunch of funny innuendos and stuff, but these Torques took it way too far in my opinion. What kind of synchronized f***ing like nut bust was that? Gross, dude! Oh, y'all motherfuckers nasty. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do it to you. The rest of this joint was kind of boring. I mean, this is the pre-sequel, so I guess here's a funny gameplay clip. Credit for that. Oh. Oh, you're just vibing? You good? You gonna let me put the probe in? You gonna let me do it? Oh. You gonna let me put it in? Doink. The rest of this place was a breeze. There was one tough guy, but he was conveniently placed next to this abyss. But from here on out, it got pretty tough. There were a lot of baddie enemies in the robot factory, and at one point, I was even getting double teamed by a couple of them. The turret calibration segment was annoying as usual, so that sucked. My game crashed shortly after, so that sucked. And then I had to redo the turret calibration, so you know, that sucked. Alright, that's enough pre-sequel bad jokes for now. It's time for a boss fight. Felicity was a little angry about her new job, so we had to teach her a lesson. This was probably one of the toughest fights so far. She was pretty tanky, and she was also able to create repair surveyors. The surveyors themselves weren't that much of a threat, but I was on track to run out of ammo quick. During my second attempt, I ended up opening the last of the ammo crates in the arena, and the fight was really close. Alright, we're going in after this. I might have f***ed up. No. No! No! No!
Why'd you do?
Ah! Oh! Let's go! You can argue that I relied on melee for that kill, but if I didn't open half the ammo crates in my first attempt, I would have had plenty of places to get ammo, so cut me some slack. I'm playing the pre-sequel for Pete's sake. We made it to Helios, and for some reason the Dahl troops weren't mad at us. That was until Claptrap decided to bone the whole space station though. They got real angry about that, so we had no choice but to fight. Okay. I think it's time I insert some more pre-sequel bad jokes. It's been like 2 minutes, so I think we're due for some. Bro, why did they take away the low gravity in this part? Oh, it's so boring. I want to jump. Bro, do we really need to get this guy's picture of his kid for him, dude? What the heck even is this writing? Yo, did they really bring back rabbit stalkers for this one part of the game? Oh my god, Gearbox. I don't want the crappy loot. Just hurry up. Jeez, man. Okay, dude. Come on, dude. Why is this door so slow? Dude, there's a force field behind the door? Why? Why is this a thing? Oh, bruh. Dude, why is there a force field opening like this, dude? It's a force field. Who even made this friggin' game? Okay, that should hit the quota. Anyway, this bodybuilder took me out and is a real homie right after and just let me pass anyway. This guy was the closest thing I had to a friend all run. The brave lad jumped in like the buff anime protagonist he is and started chopping up this torque queen with his katana. Sadly, our homie's plot armor wasn't strong enough to take on the torque. We will never forget you, buff doll homie. Last thing we had to do here was take out this guy, which was easy, just time consuming, because we're pretty much using a Nerf Maverick to fight things. We ended up saving everyone, then we decided we didn't need the Harry Potter lookalike and his goons, so we murdered him. All jokes aside, this part of the game is usually always enjoyable for me. There are a lot of jump pads and flying and stuff, and falling in the void is more funny than annoying here, so it's actually kind of vibing. I kind of blew right through this area too because there wasn't really any mandatory fights. This level of difficulty wouldn't last long, however. Let me show you why I almost lost this run. Honestly. No! Yeah, guys, that shield regen is friggin' busted. Every time I was close, she denied my satisfaction. Also, who put the new use station behind this electric field? Someone please tell me. Okay, time for some strategy talk. So it was obvious that this fight was going to be tough. So we had to save quit farm for some parts that would hit the spot just right, which is basically shock element and a Jacob's grip. This combination would give us the best damage per shot. After many deaths, I was on track to beating her. At the time I thought that staying far away and letting her aggro on Jack would stop her constant shield regen move, but in reality there is a good chance that she just has a limited use of that move. So the fight got easier, I guess, but there's still a lot of built-up frustration in this fight that I ended up releasing here.
Oh, little beta, little baby. Oh, little baby. Oh no. Oh no, you can't do nothing. You can't regen no more shield, little baby. I don't got any more little rockets. Oh no.
Anyway, Sarpedon wanted to go for round 2, and this time, she didn't even last half as long. We finished her off, and Jack was waiting ready for the money shot. It was finally time to disable the eyeball laser, which was simple. We just had to use our big injector on it. I think we injected a little too much though, because everything got a little weird. Anyway, Jack sent us on our final mission to finally beat this game. On the way in, we came across this injured soldier, and I decided to let him go because I kind of felt bad that my man's was level 0. And we also needed to conserve ammo for the next boss. RK5 or whatever was actually kind of annoying. The two main problems with this fight were lack of ammo and actually landing shots. Molly 1 pistols in general have really low shot speed, and with Walmart Bunker being so far away and moving at pretty high speeds, I had to aim ahead of him in order to land any shots at all. Mix this with the limited ammo crates and the fact that Showdown doesn't account for the distance, and you get a whole lot of wasted shots. Things only get worse though, because I won the fight and beat the game. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Why does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, my footage cut out right at the end of the run, just like last time. How does this happen twice? I redid the fights, but I didn't have footage for this one still for some reason, so I fought Bootleg Bunker again for you guys. If you want a teaser for my next challenge run though, just look at the death counter. Make sure to subscribe to see what monster's idea caused this pain. Alright, we finally made it to the last boss, and for the peeps that are wondering about the pregnant alien boss, I'm sorry, you guys are getting kink shamed today. The Sentinel fight was actually really long. The whole fight has like 7 phases, and to give you an idea on how long it took, I grabbed this Mox tail for a little bit of extra gun damage, and it's supposed to last 30 minutes. We made it to the arena with about 28 minutes left, and the long grind started. Like I said before, this fight took a while, but to be honest with you, it wasn't the hardest thing in the world. That title is reserved for me when I finally get to stop playing the pre-sequel. Okay, let's wrap things up. All jokes aside, I actually enjoyed this fight, because everything in this fight was skill-based. Every move that the Sentinel threw out was dodgeable with some sort of precise movement, and I think the pre-sequel should get some props for that, because in Borderlands 2, some enemies are just straight up undodgeable. I think we're going to end this fight by showing you guys a couple of clips from the battle and the finishing blow. The fight itself was probably a full 30 minutes, but I'll keep it short. They messed up.
Not that much. At least 5 naked people.
Oh,
We
come
can
on.
all work together.
Oh my god.
Not naked.
Oh no, that is not good. Dude, you need to perish like now. You need to perish like now. No, please. Let's go. No barf. No barf, gang. Hashtag boss Mel. I am glad to say, you can beat Borderlands the Pre-Sequel with only the probe. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this run. If you guys have any feedback, I'm always open to suggestions, so please let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, 1 like equals 1 torque sent to horny jail. I also want to thank you guys for all the support. I definitely did not expect to hit 100 subs off my first video, and as promised, I'll be doing a face reveal video soon. And if you guys have any questions, post them below and I'll answer them then. Anyway, if you haven't seen my first video, you can check it out here, and until next time, breathe easy homies.